All right, Kabich. All right, you say that I just spiral out and wander around, and whatever I studied, it must not have been poli-sci. Well, yeah, especially at the time, you poli-sci, even the people, political philosophers in the philosophy department, there's just too much traditionalism taught in that, right? And that's a problem when you have a tradition of centuries of pointless wars. Just so I'm just saying. But I took political philosophy and seminars and nuclear detente, which was fascinating. The Air Force had like no successful test launches. We probably spent trillions of dollars on missiles that never would have made it to the Soviet Union, but it didn't matter because it was just about the scariness, wasn't it? Um, I mean, okay, actually, first of all, I like this video. You got into a lot of things. Hard to watch, not particularly flattering to me. But I think you had some substance in there, which is what I like. And the one part is going on and on about the Maui Wowie. What's the point? Why would you do that? You've been dismissed as an alcoholic. You and I have had great conversations. I thought that hurt when you're like going back to stick 'em. Those were great, and if you don't see how I'd give ground, because the great thing about several of those conversations was I would be like off on some internet thread and I would have discovered the Indus Valley civilization. I'll bring it up to you and other people. Nobody, you're the only one that knew about it. And then we could actually argue about, well, is that writing? Was it a language? Was it just for accounting? And these kinds of things. And I would yield to you when I'd say some potentially outrageous thing characterizing the origin of Christianity and it's too simple and you go, no, here's some of the complexities. Well, I think this is a process of abstraction, so I took it differently than you. Um, but I think the only problem I have, even including that difference of our experiences there, is the only problem I have is it's just going to be pointless. If we really want to discuss why so many political conversation and the clutches that come up with ideas, how much alcohol has been involved or any intoxicant, we could talk about that, but it's sort of another subject and not one we should use to avoid the subject at hand. So, you complain that I don't give enough context and background, and the thing is that's there's truth to that. And actually, as you go on, you put it that I'm like always saying you people should catch up. But I just think it affects the conversation. I like the information to be more as if it was raw information from nature, where you have to figure out the context from the raw information, and it seems more honest. Like, here's the thing: you went to Cal, I went to Cal. You probably have seen arguments in the streets. You can go up to somebody with the sign. The argument, political arguments, good versions of arguments, and I think. And if you got arguing with somebody and then 20 minutes later a bunch of new people have been collected to watch it, you don't stop talking to the person you're talking to and go, hey, everybody, thanks for coming. You can watch me talk to this idiot, and here's what's really going on. That's less honest than just keep talking to the guy. And also, if you stop and serve this bigger group, that might be the majority of the people now, but it's disrespectful of the people that have been listening carefully. Okay, and so it distracts. On the other hand, yeah, I could probably do some more of that. Maybe I should make a summary video and put it in my description. And similarly, yes, I know it's a better etiquette to put the link always to the video I'm replying to, and I forget to come back and do that. But in my defense, that is something that slips my memory, and if you ask me, hey, what was this about, I will give you the link and I update my description. I know it's a little extra work for you, but it's not like in principle I'm saying, fuck it, I won't do it. It's just, I forget that. And that's the thing about the space cadet stuff, which is like, I'll accept that too. There's a little bit of that scatterbrain eccentricity that you have among, programmers. It's common. It's common among a bunch of types that I am. Poets and programmers both have different versions of it commonly, and I like writing. I don't like reading poetry, but I like writing it, and I like programming. And also, yeah, this is for the polymath side. I think all of us are a little bit polymath, and at least, and this is for that side. So yeah, I move all over because look, dude, I focus plenty in what I do with a lot of my time in my career. On my side project, I have a server. The server has a map interface. There's a Mongo proxy. There's a data model. There's the server model, the server commands. There's JSON communication. There's a JavaScript system with a Novum interface and a spider. And, about 20 different files, each one with several classes. I've got all of these pods that, there's a lot of details and things to keep straight and focused. Now here I can misspeak or leave out a word or talk too fast and leave out a phrase. It makes me more confusing. The information has more of a raw flavor. But consider, dude, in programming I have to get every semicolon in the right place. So give me a chance to speak about this stuff jumping all over the place, because at least I'm not saying you must follow, here's one station. Because meanwhile, while you complain about that, other people are like, you're getting to be a broken record. You ask the same question over and over, a question maybe you didn't know because you didn't watch that, so you didn't understand the context of the comment, and then you made a 20-minute video about my 5-minute video and complained about how long my video was. It was ironic. Okay, that's just the first page notes, my friend, and we got a bunch of pages. Woo! Okay, but I wrote big. Yeah, going off on whatever. I believe this hobby is one that allows me to go off on whatever. That's its point. And I like raw data, and I like to be raw data, and I figure the less context I give, the more people have to figure out the context themselves, the more it inspires questions. And if I give say something that can be interpreted multiple ways, I expect you to ask a direct question. And that's a big part of what you said, is it's hypocritical of me because I answer direct questions. You're saying my videos should be more direct. Yeah, they're not direct. They open up a spectrum of a space on what we're, is meant to contain the things we're talking about. But if you have a direct question for me, I will answer it. And if it's a loaded question, I'll unload the question and then answer it anyway, the unloaded version. Okay, that's what I consider a direct question and answer. And if you, for example, the whole question of, is it possible to be well informed and support, and you say yes, but it means that you have malevolent intent. Well, I'd like to talk about that because I don't believe I have a malevolent intent. By the way, I think your Dillinger example is pretty apt. It gets to where I assume you're coming from, and it's good for that. But the difference is that I don't think stealing money and spending it yourself is the same thing as releasing information. Now, I see how you could say that, though, because, oh, now he's famous. Maybe that's more important than money, or maybe he'll even get money, or how is he being taken care of now, or maybe he had enough money and all he wanted was the fame. And so I see how there's an argument. It's actually one of the better arguments. It's just that you have to understand. It's more like if I was the kind of person that thought bank robbing should be legal, which I don't about bank robbing, but I do believe this information should be out there. I don't think it should have to get leaked. I think the Freedom of Information Act says that it should be out there. But we have a very loose, long-term, they can redact whatever they want to kind of interpretation of the Freedom of Information Act. Okay? And I'm pointing out the values, and you're going, your facts are just worldviews. And it's like, yes, exactly. There's some of us here that don't actually disagree on facts. And you say which facts, I put some in a comment there. Like the NSA spies on us. The NSA has undermined our encryption in the U.S. You can say, yes, but they had to. No, because the other spy agencies have people embedded in our spy agency. We pretty much know that. So all the spy agencies around the world are sharing this information, and it's just us, the ones spending $50+ billion a year in covert operations, that don't get to officially know about it. And people like me, or you for that matter, or maybe Unseen has said, Skep, we know these things are going on, but we don't actually have a public debate because officially, no, we didn't help, we didn't help the Shah, in Iran. Nope, not officially. So yeah, maybe I could context a little more, but I think recontexting all the time is a little bit manipulative. So I think you should appreciate it because my opinions still come through. Sorry, Freudian slip there. My opinions, it says here, yet my opinions come through, accidentally say true. So, no, it doesn't. But my opinions come through still. Yeah? I think you're disagreeing with me now because my opinion is coming through, not because it isn't. It's not like I can't tell who you support, Piro, and that's my complaint. I want to know what you think. No, you're getting what I think, and that's why you're complaining. So is it that I'm too vague? Because if you're getting what I think, then sounds like mission accomplished on the communications front, yeah? So maybe I should stop saying to people, catch up on your own, catch up on your own. I could offer a little more of a helping hand. I've noticed I leave out half sentences a lot that probably, are unnecessarily problematic. Holy shit, this is going to take forever, but I really, I like you a lot. I should let you guys in on my internal dialogue. No, no, when I do that, it gets even more confusing. You have no, this has been, the last 7 years on YouTube has been an exercise in comprehensibility for me. When I was political blogging, it was like, boom, is esoteric. I once wrote an essay where every sentence had at least 3 negations in it, and I thought that was really good. So, yeah, space cadet, absent-minded. Fine, that's not the same thing. I mean, fine, I accept that. That's where I left off part of a sentence. I'll accept that, but that doesn't mean I won't answer a direct question. I will. The challenge is on you. I'll put up this thing where you could think I think this, and maybe I think a totally different thing, and you just ask a question to discriminate between them. Blah, 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 and I will answer it directly. Try me. If it's a loaded, did you stop beating your wife question, then I will explain how I think it's loaded and then answer with respect to the question unfolded. And I consider that a direct answer because that is a direct answer. Yeah, it seems like you're asking for my statements to be more determined, but I don't like that. I think that it's appropriate to have indeterminism and some lack of context, given that you still get your ideas out, your political ideas, your philosophical ideas, whatever. And then the other person is supposed to say, oh, wait a second, what are you saying here, this or this, like I did to Skept. That's what I want people like you to do to me. You criticize me or say, maybe you're smoking too much of that Maui marijuana. No, I want you to ask the question. You say I squirrel, but I don't see you asking specific questions. Clarify your question. Be willing to clarify, and maybe you'll get an answer to your questions. But you're not watching the videos. This is fine. I don't expect you to watch all the videos, but you're actually commenting on a comment to a video you didn't watch that was to a video. I mean, there is context there for you to get. Cabbage, right? So, and you can ask specific questions, because I don't find that your questions have been specific. I don't think I have evaded a question. You may think that you're making your point clearly, but the wires are crossed. We're not communicating. If you ask me a question as clear as what I asked Skep, you'll get a clear answer every time. So another thing about me giving context and stuff is I consciously don't want to make videos where people could watch 5 of my videos and think, I've sized him up. And you see this works all the time, because with someone like Snake, he's in a big hurry, so he just makes assumptions. He doesn't have time to really understand, so he'll watch a video or two and he gets such a wrong direction from that one video. I like that. Okay, that's a part of the plan of how I do this. You have to talk to me and ask me a direct question and see my direct answer to understand me. Okay, I'm not going to size myself up for people, so I only want to have to spend 30 seconds to understand what kind of a person you are. I'm trying to break people that think that way. First impressions, boom, not enough. And the polymath thing, it's like we get to play polymath here. We get to have opinions. Yeah, I am a little bit educated in formal political philosophy. Didn't focus on it. But luckily it doesn't matter here. We don't have to be educated or have focused on or proved ourselves academically on these subjects to discuss them in public. And why is it important since we're not experts? Because we're the voters. We're going to vote on who gets funding, who doesn't. What we do, hopefully, eventually will have control of our nation again, and it'll matter what we think, eventually. I think it's a great moment of comedy around 8 minutes, 9 minutes into your video where you're bitching about the fact that I'm already 2 minutes into my video that you're responding to about one comment in a video you didn't watch. It's like you're complaining that I spent 2 minutes of your time discussing something that you didn't watch and you're 9 minutes into your own discussion of it. That's funny. That's one of the good things about the internet. That's one of the things the internet's for right there. And you said don't play the badass. I did have that one kind of badassy line. I do like, a Clint Eastwood line every once in a while. But you must have missed the one where I told Skep it was a bad idea to assume people were uninformed because, one, that's a stupid thing. It's just a matter of statistics. And two, because it was me. I thought that was a good one. But I'm not really trying to be badass. But if I get upset, like the comment that you were talking about, I was just like, please don't piss me off. I mean, he made this conciliatory video, talked about how it's bad to be disingenuous. So let's assume he meant that. He should go with that. Now he's going to go, well, you guys seem to want to waste my time. I mean, please don't piss me off. When you talk about the malintent and that it is possible for somebody informed and they have to have malintent, I want to zero in on which part of my intent is bad. All right? Right, let's just, even if we would assume for the sake of argument, you're right in some part, I want to know which part, because I'm not doing this from an attempt to have a bad intent. I want to hurt the United States. No, I don't think it did hurt the United States. I think it helps us to have these things out here and know that our methods. If we're going to spy on people the way the NSA has, fine, let's put it out in the open. Let's not undermine our encryption and things like that. I will vote against it doing that, but I understand democracy, and we can vote and you could say, no, it needs to be done. I think that's a reasonable debate. I don't think it's reasonable to say that let's make things against the law and let the government break them behind our back. That hurts the country from my point of view. So go ahead and you make your argument about why I'm trying to hurt America when, I think if Manning had materially, his releases had hurt America, that might have come up in his trial. Just saying. And also, I like your Dillinger example. I think we can carry it further. My main objection, there's no reason to rush ahead with every implication. I like to focus, I like to focus on something for a while. So my main issue there is that I don't think stealing money and spending it yourself is the same as releasing information. I don't think the information should be all secret and hold up. I don't think robbing that information is the same as robbing some money that belongs to people that have a right to go ahead and put it in the bank, where everybody knows that it is, by the way. So you ought to think a little bit about the fact that what I have been doing with Skep is bringing the issue to values, because in some cases, people like he and I are not necessarily, as far as we know, no evidence of us disagreeing on the facts. Thus, it's a value issue, which is why you notice that I'm talking about worldviews and values, right? I don't value secret programs. I think they're counterproductive and overly expensive, and it doesn't work. Like Unseen Perfidy, and I agree that torture is actually counterproductive, doesn't really work, it's not efficacious. That's how I feel about clandestine operations. And if you want to understand, well, how do you want it to work? Just Wikipedia security through obscurity. You'll learn a lot right there about how I think about security. Security through obscurity. Look it up. It's context, motherfucker. All right. Now, one thing you said, I said we, and you went off on this mini rant about that, are you the elected leader of those Chomskyites? Okay, it's interesting because you probably didn't see this video, and that's fine because it wasn't to you, but if you're following this conversation, you might want to watch my videos to Unseen Perfidy. Burp. Excuse me so much. That removes context when I do that. So for context, let me add, I had mentioned Chomsky because I said read Manufacture of Consent, but I also mentioned I don't support Chomsky. Not only am I not a Chomskyite politically, but I disagree with him in the field that made him actually famous and respected, linguistics, and I believe his wayward students' theories, Lakoff's theories. So I'm not a spokesman, and I wasn't trying to say I was a spokesman. What had happened is a bunch of people are asking questions, and between those questions, there are clear relationships and a pattern. And I was describing what the people asking these questions, the theme of that, right? So I wasn't speaking for other people instead of those people speaking for themselves. I was summarizing what those other people were asking. Okay, you got that? Is that enough context for you there? You say all my conversations are clusterfucks. Orgies, you mean? I'm sorry. I tried to take that as an insult, and I just keep reading that. I'm going like, welcome to the internet, Kabich. If I didn't know that, why would I be here? Okay, anyway, I should solidify what I'm saying. You know, there was a subtle but clear theme there that, Biro, you could do better. Add the context. Frame it better. Make people believe what you believe. You don't have to just be all over the place, not making people believe what you believe. Just sharing information. No, you can make people think right. Do it, do it, do it. Cow, 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 go Bears. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So you say you haven't gone beyond saying you don't like secrets. No, I have. Security through obscurity. Look it up. Wiki, Google, whatever you want. It equals focus. I asked a question to Skep a bunch of times, and you're behind because you're like, he's all over the place. But what I've been doing my last 6 videos is hammering. Boom, same thing, same thing, same thing. Just like with Snake, again, use him as an example. Was a brain dead example, but the similarity is he was all like, stop using the same word that makes me upset. It's like the focus comes when it needs to. Kabich. Didn't they teach you that in poli-sci? No, in philosophy department they do. Oh, by the way, what did I study? I studied math, science, and philosophy. Like all 3 of them for like 2.5, 3 years, and then I finished off my philosophy degree. And in philosophy, I took just every logic class that I could that was offered while I was there. So vagueness, you should just look up security through obscurity. You'll learn a lot about what I think about clandestine operations. Remember, I don't support hiding algorithms, only passcodes. So think about that. I don't support hiding that we have a nuclear weapons program. I only support hiding the nuclear passcodes. I'm sure you can figure it out from there because you're smart. Think about it both in both states of mind. Let's just put it that way. So you can't really comment effectively on my video because you didn't know the question that had been asked and stuff like that. But you still brought up some good issues. So I'm glad you used it as a way into the conversation and just stay in this conversation needs you, Kavich. I think I've long thought you were underappreciated, which is why I didn't understand why you're so negative towards me. I'm one of your biggest fans. I mean, you're wrong about stuff, but who cares about that? This is more like wrestling. It's like, do you have presence in the ring? Yeah, you do. Totally do. Fuck the people that want to dismiss you. I like you. You're annoying, but you know how I like annoying people. That's obvious. Why isn't that a flaw that people point out more? The fact that I tolerate and even like annoying people so much. But not just because they're annoying, or else I'd like Carmel. But there just happen to be a lot of people I do find interesting to watch that are annoying, and then people go, well, you're annoying, Piero, and I go, well, I'm not that surprised. Maybe that's a necessary requirement. So that was all I wrote really large on them. It made it look like there were more notes. All right, over to you, Kabich. Maybe we should have a live debate on this stuff.